From our Main Street newsroom, this is 2 News Live at 3:30.
Live in downtown Salt Lake City, great to be with you here on this fine afternoon. A little humid, almost feels a little muggy, feels a little New England to me. Born and raised. Brian Schnee with you here on 2 News Live. Let's turn things over to meteorologist Chase Thomason here. You did talk about humidity earlier today.
That's right.
On the socials.
Yep.
What are we dealing with and experiencing statewide right now?
Yeah, for Utah, these are high levels of humidity, if you will. We have a lot of cloud cover out there, and we're tracking a few showers and thunderstorms. Of course, we had those big storms that rolled through the Salt Lake Valley last night. Right now, those storms are going up over the mountains. We're not seeing a whole lot in the valleys quite yet, but I think that's going to be changing over the next couple hours. You'll see on radar, at least for northern Utah, we have some thunderstorms over the Oquirrh Mountains. We've had a flash flood warning, though, for the Wanship area in the Wasatch Back. That is just north and east of Park City along I-80. A little bit of water running around the road. Reports of about an inch of water in about 30 minutes. So there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. We're seeing now some flash flooding across some of those slot canyons down in southern Utah.
And you were showing us yesterday what was going on in Heber towards the later newscast in the 5 o'clock hour. Your next weather maker, does it include more of the same here?
Actually, we have some drier air that is now moving in. That'll be impacting us starting tomorrow. I still think those daily mountain thunderstorms going to be an issue for the rest of the work week and into the weekend. But at least for the valleys, though, more sunshine. And then with that drier air is going to be the heat. So we're talking about a lot of triple digits in the forecast several days in a row at or above 100 degrees.
I know you saw the video I shared last night. Gnarly storms last night west of the I-15 corridor.
Yeah. It was our wettest day in about
crazy.
2 months.
Yeah.
Just within about 10 to 15 minutes.
Heavy winds, obviously nothing like they're experiencing outside in the Beaver area with the flooding issues and such. Just quickly, Pioneer Day, for those, we're going to talk about fireworks and all that coming up in a minute. Pioneer Day for those along the Wasatch Front, hit or miss storms again? Yeah,
mainly over the mountains. So if you're going to be going out to one of our mountain lakes, Jordanelle, Bear Lake, Deer Creek, maybe a stray thunderstorm. In the valleys, though, it's going to be all about that heat with temperatures above 100 degrees.
Meteorologist Chase Thomason, full forecast coming up in a few minutes on 2 News at 4 o'clock. Chase, as always, thank you very much. Before we talk about those fireworks, I want to go back to Beaver, Utah. I want to go back and look at what has been the folks in Beaver County have been dealing with, specifically the governor today announcing the state of emergency from this side physically for the state compared to the local declarations from Beaver City and Beaver County over the last few days. So this would include some of the neighboring counties down there, not just Beaver County, but Piute and another also included in the mix. Samantha Hoffman back in the Beaver area for yet another day here, talking fire and now flood. So Sam, how do things look today, and are they able to make some adjustments day after day after day in some of these communities to get some of this debris cleared up?
Yeah, today I'm over in Piute, seeing the Junction side because that's where they saw serious flooding last night. I'm here at Highway 153 where it is closed. This really will show you why it is closed. The road is completely cleared out here. Residents were actually working on building this dirt wall behind me for about the past week to prepare for flooding. They saw what was happening in Beaver and they didn't want that to happen here. They also lined it with sandbags, but when the rain eventually started around 8 p.m. last night, that's when UDOT came in, actually cleared the road. I'm going to step behind the camera here, give you a little bit of a view of the scene that I'm at. Again, you'll see this road completely cleared out at Highway 153. You'll see sandbags washed all along the water here. Now, this did help damage not reach all the way to town. It was a little late. There was some flooding that made it through town. But that didn't have any serious damage to homes. There are a few businesses that I saw that are cleaning up today, but this last-minute resort by UDOT was very crucial in protecting the town of Junction.
So Samantha, yet another day where there's the concern here in that area. When you were talking to some of the business owners and such that live in this Junction area that went through this last night, what were they saying about how they're looking to the future here and how they want to make sure they are prepared for the potential of the next one?
They feel very lucky. They didn't realize just how much water would come through. Responders told me it was actually an 8-foot wall of water coming through here. Now, I did go to the Junction General Store. They had a lot of mud they were clearing out surrounding it, but the water didn't reach inside their store. But they say that as they were very lucky, they want to make sure they don't get too comfortable and continue to build up some dirt walls, some sandbags, create more barriers as they expect more storms tonight.
Samantha, I know you're in the Piute side, and it takes a little while to get from side to side here, but any indication what some of the work looks like on the other side of the mountain right now in Beaver today? Have you been in touch with any folks over there?
For Beaver, they told me that it's going to be kind of similar today and continuing sandbagging efforts, clearing debris, and getting ready for potentially more storms. The mayor had told me that he thinks that if not this week, then next week could bring as big of flooding as they saw Sunday. Luckily, day to day for now, it's just been minor showers. Again, it was more of this side of the mountain that was hit. But Highway 153, this is really going to be a big battle for both sides to work together to fix.
Samantha Hoffman reporting live from the Junction area in Piute County for us here on 2 News Live, showing us some of that damage from, once again, more floodwaters moving through this portion of central and southern Utah. Samantha, thank you. Let's talk fireworks now. It is July 22nd. This is typically a day where you would see some of those fireworks heading up into the sky. It starts that window, typically of ignition for Utahns to be able to set off fireworks today, depending on where they are. And of course, cities are making quick moves here, saying, wait. Let's reverse course on this because we don't know if the conditions are right. Fortunately, we have an expert here joining us from Some Dudes Fireworks. This is Shane joining us live from Lehigh this afternoon. Shane, you and I have spoken about this topic in the past. I'm glad you're back with us today. How have the restrictions changed your business over the course of this season? And what did Lehigh City implement recently that also impacts what you're doing there in the Lehigh High School parking lot?
Well, it was quite cruel, actually. They waited until pretty late yesterday to give us word of what was going on. We originally thought that at least I did, that the ban or restrictions ended July 5th. And I spent the month thinking that July 24th, we'd be free to get back some of our losses. And then they just pulled the rug out from under us again. And to answer the first part of that question, I don't know if there's even a word for it. Devastating, crippling. It's just, it's been terrible. We're in a lot of trouble here.
Live look from Lehigh, Main Street, Center Street behind us here on 2 News Live as Shane joins us from nearby at the high school where his Some Dudes Fireworks stand is set up. Shane, you've been in this family business for about 10 years, if I remember correctly, and then Lehigh made changes to their restrictions yesterday. You mentioned sales. How hard has this year been for you?
It's been devastating. Our sales are down now. They're down over 90%. Crippling. We're at a loss. We don't know what we're going to do.
So in a broader scope of Utah County, Shane, are there neighboring communities there that have allowed fireworks, as far as you're aware, for the Pioneer Day holiday?
Yes, that's what makes it so frustrating. It doesn't seem right that because there's literally a line drawn somewhere, that you can do them compared to not being able to do them. I know that I've talked to so many people, and the way that they've done this, it is so confusing. And there's still some people that still don't understand it. But yes, a lot of the communities, most of them actually, I think, did allow it. And, for Lehigh City to ban them, it was quite a shock. I don't understand it.
Last thing for you, Shane. Again, thanks for joining us. I know that it's kind of this uncertainty with the business side and, of course, with the moving evolution of restrictions here seemingly by the hour. But for those that are coming to the stand to purchase fireworks, what are some good tips you can give families here, depending on where they live and maybe what they should be having with them if they choose to set off fireworks during this period here of the Pioneer Day holiday weekend?
Well, first off, as confusing as they are, know if fireworks are legal, right? That it's okay to shoot them where you do it. My number one always suggestion has been common sense. If it's a safe area to do a firework. Read the directions on the firework, have a bucket of water or hose handy, douse the firework down completely, Don't light the fireworks and then throw them in your garbage. That's a bad idea. Douse them down, wet them down, wait for them to cool off, and then throw them away. Supervise your children. You do the lighting. Let the adults do the lighting. Common sense stuff.
All right, Shane, thank you for joining us here on 2 News Live. Again, Shane and Some Dudes Fireworks located in Lehigh at the high school right now. If you live in one of those legal areas and you want to go, that's a spot you can check out. And Shane always can give you all the education there. But also, it has been tough this year because there's these moving targets, if you will, as it pertains to the restrictions. And the question we're asking now to a lot of people on one of our polls with Megan over here in the Content Center is, how will you celebrate Pioneer Day fireworks? You've been getting a lot of responses, it looks like.
Yeah, we have. So we have this poll right here asking Utahns how they're going to celebrate Pioneer Day. So it looks like the majority are going to skip fireworks altogether. But you can see there's still a few that are going to watch a public show or light fireworks at home or even just watch from a distance. So if you haven't voted on that yet, you can go and scan that QR code and let us know what you're doing.
And on our website right now, we have some of the restrictions. What can people find in this article, Megan?
Yes, we do. So I think you mentioned earlier, it's up to local leaders now whether or not fireworks are banned in your area. So Utah has gotten a lot of rain over the last few days, but there's still a lot of areas that are in extreme wildfire danger. So you can come right here to our website, and we have this embedded link right here. You can actually put in your address, and then you can see what the bans are looking like in your area. And then we also have a full county and city list where you can find what the bans are looking like. So everything that you need is right here.
Yeah, I'm assuming more will be added as we learn more, if anyone makes any last-minute changes, which a lot of these are coming down to the wire, if you will, because today would have been the first day within that legal window that a lot of places could set them off. Any places where we can catch fireworks on Friday? I know that there's the drone shows, but also fireworks shows, it sounds like, still from some of the cities in the state?
Yeah, there's going to be a bunch, and we'll be updating this article as well, so any information about those shows you can find right here in this article.
Also, Days of 47, there's a lot going on in terms of activities. Any other road closures for some of these events people should be aware of if they're heading out and about?
There's going to be quite a few. So there's a lot going on downtown on Friday. We have both the marathon and the parade. The parade starts at about 9 a.m. and there's going to be closures between South Temple and Liberty Park where the parade will end. And then we also have the marathon. That starts at about 5:30 in the morning. It will go for 6 hours or so. And that'll be through Emigration Canyon, and then we'll also end at Liberty Park.
And you're running the marathon, right?
Oh, no.
I'm not running the marathon either. Megan, thank you very much. Still ahead here on 2 News Live, we are listening to what you are saying, taking a look at what we're finding on social media, what people are talking about in their communities. A lot of you still talking about what is happening in our situation involving the war overseas. We localize that with a live look here from our nation's capital this afternoon, where we will revisit the conversation on First Lieutenant Tyler Feehan when we come back. Back here, 2 News Listens, we are seeing what you are sharing and talking about on social media. One of the things that we've noticed is there's a lot of conversation about surveillance, not just flock cameras, we'll get to that at some point, trust me, but drone surveillance. Salt Lake City Police has been sharing some posts of how they use their drones, and you can see the post on your screen here about how the drones are implemented and used to track people involved in perhaps a call, right? A call for help. Maybe this was a burglary or somebody suspicious, and they called and they took a look, and some of those videos that we're seeing right now are from Salt Lake City Police. We reached out to them to ask how drones are being used in police work right now. We've shared some previous coverage on this, but not necessarily in our capital city. Also talking about the rules that are in place to protect people's privacy. We are hoping to sit down with Salt Lake City Police, or at least have them out here, to learn a little bit more about the future of this technology, what it looks like here, as other cities and other states have already rolled out full-fledged drone fleets, if you will, to respond. Also talking about a couple of different things here in Salt Lake City, but Coachman's. Maybe you dined there once upon a time. Maybe you're very aware of where it stood on State Street, and the demolition process over the last few years always has people talking on social media, hoping for some change in that area. People in the comments are asking what will happen to this location after the old diner has been torn down. Brian Malahy, Mr. Coachman himself, with an update joining us live right now. What is the latest on this very talked about location in Salt Lake, Brian?
Well, it's 1300 South State Street, so it's right back there. This fence rims the property, actually larger than what the old Coachman's restaurant was. The restaurant's been torn down. Just this week, the sign for the restaurant was removed, but it's not going to be destroyed. The sign is going to go into a warehouse. There was a fundraiser to keep this sign from being being trashed, if you will, and that fundraiser was about $15,000. It was used to take down this sign very meticulously, and it's a piece of history. Coachman's existed for more than 60 years. And so we know that the sign is going to go into this warehouse for the time being, and then eventually might be back in the sun. We're not exactly sure when. Different restaurant group owns that corner now. That restaurant group has another eatery here on State Street. We don't know exactly what's planned for the site, but we do know that a piece of history, at least a small piece, is, for the time being, going to be saved. And that is something that people say is a preservation victory. It's a win, and it's a rare one. I talked to a woman today who has written a couple of books on Utah vintage signs, and she tells me that for every one sign, like the old Coachman sign that is saved, 100 others are trashed. And so saving one is considered a bit of a win. Not a great track record, but a win nonetheless.
Brian Malahi live in Salt Lake City on the Coachman sign saga, seeing what happens here. We'll look for you coming up in a few minutes later on in the newscasts here. Brian, thank you very much. Something else people are talking about here is something we touched on during our Listen segment yesterday, hearing from people reflect on the life of one of the soldiers from Utah, had ties to Utah. I shouldn't say necessarily from Utah, but had ties to Utah with Southern Utah University, Tyler Feehan, who was among the 4 so far that have been named in being killed in action in Jordan within the last few days. This is Tyler. We talked to the Southern Utah University president, Mindy Benson, about Tyler and the legacy he leaves behind and how they're remembering him as we take a live look from our nation's capital at the White House this afternoon here on 2 News Live. There is also a local connection to all of this. In the Midway area, there is a memorial hill in Midway, Utah, that First Lieutenant Tyler Feehan's name will be added to. The site honors Utah service members who lost their lives. We have a live look from Wasatch County right now in the general area of this, but Midway has this special location where they honor fallen service members here in Utah. There's a lot of comments and just in general reaching out on this topic after the news came about over the last few days involving First Lieutenant Tyler Feehan, who has those strong ties to SUU. And if you'd like to go back and hear part of that conversation and see how family and friends are reflecting on this loss and remembering him, you can find that on our website right now. As always, we are listening to you here on 2 News Live, seeing what you're saying on social media, taking those comments, taking a deeper dive, answering some of those questions. 2 News Live returns after this.